What is the primary purpose of Brazil's General Data Protection Law, LGPD? A. To regulate the use of the Internet in Brazil. B. To align Brazil's data protection laws with international standards. C. To monitor digital transactions exclusively. D. To impose taxes on data transactions. Correct answer. B. To align Brazil's data protection laws with international standards. Which entity is responsible for enforcing the LGPD in Brazil? A. The Brazilian Congress. B. The National Data Protection Authority, ANPD. C. The Brazilian Federal Police. D. The Ministry of Justice. Correct answer. B. The National Data Protection Authority, ANPD. What constitutes sensitive personal data under the LGPD? A. Email addresses and phone numbers. B. Data related to health, racial origin, and political opinions. C. Publicly available data. D. Business data and financial transactions. Correct answer. B. Data related to health, racial origin, and political opinions. Under the LGPD, what rights are granted to data subjects? A. Right to data portability and right to refuse cookies exclusively. B. Right to be forgotten and right to financial compensation. C. Right to access, correct, and delete data, among others. D. Right to unlimited data storage and right to encryption. Correct answer. C. Right to access, correct, and delete data, among others. What is the legal basis for processing personal data under the LGPD? A. Verbal consent only. B. Written contracts or explicit consent, among other conditions. C. Public interest exclusively. D. Automatic opt-in for marketing purposes. Correct answer. B. Written contracts or explicit consent, among other conditions. What must a company do in case of a data breach under the LGPD? A. Notify the ANPD and affected data subjects promptly. B. Pay immediate fines without notifying any authorities. C. Only inform its internal data protection officer. D. Wait for a lawsuit to be filed before taking any action. Correct answer. A. Notify the ANPD and affected data subjects promptly. Which principle is not explicitly stated in the LGPD? A. Transparency. B. Data minimization. C. Profit maximization. D. Purpose limitation. Correct answer. C. Profit maximization. How does the LGPD impact international businesses? A. It applies only to Brazilian companies. B. It has extraterritorial application if processing data of individuals in Brazil. C. It exempts international companies from compliance. D. It applies solely to data transactions in Brazilian currency. Correct answer. B. It has extraterritorial application if processing data of individuals in Brazil. What is the maximum fine for LGPD violations? A. 2% of the company's global annual turnover. B. 50 million Brazilian reals per infraction. C. 100,000 Brazilian reals per data subject affected. D. 5% of the company's revenue in Brazil, unlimited. Correct answer. B. 50 million Brazilian reals per infraction. What does the appointment of a data protection officer, DPO, under the LGPD entail? A. The DPO must be a Brazilian citizen. B. The DPO is responsible for physical security measures only. C. The DPO oversees the organization's data protection strategy and compliance. D. The DPO's primary role is to market the company's data protection policies. Correct answer. C. The DPO oversees the organization's data protection strategy and compliance. Under the LGPD, when can data processing be considered lawful without the data subject's consent? A. When it involves selling the data to third parties. B. When it is necessary for the fulfillment of a legal obligation. C. When the data is used exclusively for artistic purposes. D. When data is processed by automated means only. Correct answer. B. When it is necessary for the fulfillment of a legal obligation. How does the LGPD define personal data? A. Data that can be used to contact an individual. B. Any information related to an identified or identifiable natural person. C. Information exclusive to Brazilian citizens. D. Data collected online only. Correct answer. B. Any information related to an identified or identifiable natural person. What role does consent play in the LGPD? A. It is only one of many legal bases for processing personal data. B. It is the sole basis for lawful data processing. C. Consent is not required under the LGPD. D. Consent is required only for the processing of non-sensitive data. Correct answer. A. It is only one of many legal bases for processing personal data. Which of the following is not a duty of the ANPD? A. Drafting privacy regulations. B. Enforcing tax laws related to data protection. C. Issuing fines for LGPD violations. D. Promoting data protection awareness. Correct answer. B. Enforcing tax laws related to data protection. What mechanism does the LGPD introduce for international data transfers? A. Data can only be stored within Brazil. B. International transfers are prohibited. C. Specific criteria must be met, including adequacy decisions and standard contractual clauses. D. Unrestricted transfers if consent is obtained. Correct answer. C. Specific criteria must be met, including adequacy decisions and standard contractual clauses. How does the LGPD address data processing for research purposes? A. It allows for data to be used without consent if anonymized. B. It requires individual consent for each research project. C. It exempts research data from all LGPD provisions. D. It mandates public registration of all research activities. Correct answer. A. It allows for data to be used without consent if anonymized. What constitutes a data breach under the LGPD? A. Unauthorized access to personal data that poses a risk to data subjects. B. Any access to data by third-party service providers. C. Legal access to data by governmental authorities. D. Internal review of data by company employees. Correct answer. A. Unauthorized access to personal data that poses a risk to data subjects. How are children's data treated under the LGPD? A. The same as adults' data, with no special provisions. B. Processing requires consent from a parent or legal guardian. C. Children can consent to data processing at any age. D. Children's data can only be processed for educational purposes. Correct answer. B. Processing requires consent from a parent or legal guardian. What is the significance of the principle of accountability under the LGPD? A. Organizations must prove compliance with the LGPD upon request. B. It refers to the financial liability of data processes only. C. It applies exclusively to data breaches. D. Accountability is limited to data collected electronically. Correct answer. A. Organizations must prove compliance with the LGPD upon request. How does the LGPD impact the processing of employees' personal data? A. It is exempt from LGPD requirements. B. It must comply with the LGPD, with specific provisions for employment relationships. C. Only applies to employee data if consent is explicitly given. D. Employees must be compensated for the use of their data. Correct answer. B. It must comply with the LGPD, with specific provisions for employment relationships.